In the chaotic aftermath of the Heathrow substation fire, which severely disrupted airport operations and exposed critical vulnerabilities in the UK's infrastructure, one thing became abundantly clear. The political class must face the truth about the dangers of pushing forward with net zero policies without due consideration of their potential to unravel the very systems on which the country relies. The resignation of Ed Miliband, the Labour Secretary of State for Energy and Climate Change, serves as a significant moment in British politics. It is more than a political casualty. It is a manifestation of a deeper truth that has been bubbling beneath the surface for far too long. The UK's obsession with an ideological green agenda has reached a point of no return. Miliband's removal by Keir Starmer is not just a response to the Heathrow incident. It is an admission of the failure of the net zero approach. The Heathrow fire, which was linked to a substation power failure, was merely the latest in a series of warning signs about the fragility of critical infrastructure in the face of this government's commitment to renewable energy. It is no longer a question of whether these policies will cause long-term damage, but rather a question of when that damage will become irreparable. The question raised in the House of Commons about whether green energy policies are compromising the safety and reliability of vital transport systems is a question that cannot be dismissed. The government must answer whether it is willing to sacrifice national resilience in pursuit of an increasingly idealistic, but dangerously misguided, vision of a net zero future. Let us be clear, the fallout from Heathrow's power outage highlights a much broader systemic issue. The fire exposed the vulnerabilities in the power systems that support critical infrastructure. While Miliband's assurances that Heathrow's backup power systems were dual-powered with both diesel and electricity generators may have satisfied some, the reality is far more alarming. What good are backup systems if they are not properly equipped to handle the demands of the country's most critical transport hubs? What happens when these backup systems fail to prevent widespread disruption? The incident has only served to underscore the fallacy at the heart of the green energy transition, namely, that pushing for renewable energy at the expense of fossil fuels leaves us with a system too brittle to withstand the stresses of modern life. The political elite has been so obsessed with the aesthetics of green energy that they have failed to address the underlying weaknesses in the infrastructure that supports it. The rise in renewable energy has come at the cost of a reliable and secure energy grid. The UK government's obsession with wind, solar, and other renewables has created a complex, fragile network, one that has shown, time and time again, that it cannot withstand the growing demands of modern infrastructure. What happens when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine? The situation at Heathrow is a dire warning that we are on the precipice of disaster. Our critical infrastructure is only as resilient as the power that sustains it, and right now, that power is far too dependent on unreliable sources. Ed Miliband's exit from the political stage, prompted by growing criticism of his stewardship over energy policies, is a testament to the public's mounting disillusionment with this reckless pursuit of green energy. His deflection of responsibility during the heated debate in the Commons only confirmed what many have long suspected. Miliband, and by extension, the Labour Party, have put ideology above the pragmatic needs of the nation. His claims that the power outages at Heathrow were the result of a failure by others, and his defensiveness in the face of criticism, reveal a leadership more concerned with self-preservation than with taking responsibility for the consequences of its policies. And this failure to lead is not just a personal failure, it is a failure that is symptomatic of the wider political class's inability to address the critical risks posed by an overzealous green agenda. The truth is simple. The green energy transition, as currently implemented, is compromising our national infrastructure. The rapid push toward net zero has set the country on a path where power systems are stretched thin and vulnerable to failure. These policies are creating a brittle framework where the focus on renewable energy sources, without a balanced consideration of their practical limitations, is setting the stage for systemic collapse. It's not just airports like Heathrow that are at risk. Hospitals, schools, and other critical infrastructure will soon follow if the government continues down this path of ideological fervor. It's no longer a matter of if, but when, the next catastrophe will strike. In this moment of crisis, Starmer's decision to distance himself from Miliband's leadership on energy policy is both politically astute and necessary for the future of the Labour Party. Starmer's move reflects a growing recognition that the political climate has shifted. The public is waking up to the reality that the green energy agenda, while noble in its intentions, is perilously out of touch with the demands of the modern world. It is easy to ignore the failures of green policies when they are just abstract concepts in the minds of policymakers, but the Heathrow fire has forced this issue into the open. The credibility of the Labour Party, and its ability to lead, will depend on whether it can confront the inconvenient truth about the impact of its energy policies and adjust course accordingly. Starmer's decision to fire Miliband is not just about removing an individual from power, it is a necessary recalibration of the political direction of the Labour Party. It sends a clear message that the Labour leadership understands the stakes and is willing to distance itself from policies that threaten to undermine the nation's resilience. However, this move must be more than just symbolic. It is time for the Labour Party to embrace a pragmatic approach to energy policy, one that balances the need for a green future with the need for a reliable and secure infrastructure. Until that shift happens, the public will continue to demand answers to the growing crisis that is unfolding before their eyes. The clock is ticking, and the time for change is now.